program flow control, so conditional block using if else, then else if, then only if, then for loop using range, while loop, then loop manipulation using pass, continue, break, else. Okay, then means we have seen for else, while else loop as well. Now, other than this, we have discussed string, list, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, so there we have discussed what is string, what is list, what is tuple, then dictionary, working with inbuilt methods of string and list, tuple and dictionary manipulation. So inbuilt function of, I think we have discussed list, tuple, and dictionary as well, and how to iterate over dictionary, list, and tuple, how to see the items. Uh, so that we have also discussed. Uh, Other than this, we have discussed Python functions. So organizing Python code using functions and modules and Python function, how to create the user-defined function, how to pass the variable number of argument means R, then how to pass the named argument, how to set the default argument. So those things we have discussed. So if you just look at the syllabus, then in syllabus we are having total 10 10 units. Okay, and out of 10 we are done with the 5 units. Okay, so if we consider 42 hours, okay, for total syllabus, then out of this 4 plus 4 16 plus 4 plus 4 8 plus 3 11 plus 4 15 plus 6 21. So out of 42 hours we are all done with the 21 hours. Okay, now for this pandas, let me tell you that for this last unit also I have prepared the tutorials. So very soon all the tutorials of this last unit will be available with you. Okay, and I am going to, I think I have prepared 2 to 3 hours of content for pandas library, and one 2 hours content I will prepare for NumPy library, and 1 2 hour content I will prepare for visualization, data visualization. Okay, so matplotlib and how to draw the graph, how to do the time series analysis, and all those things. And then most important concept, or you can say most important unit, which are supposed to be covered now, is exception handling. Okay, then classes and object, and then file handling, and at last it will be regular expression and database integration. So today we will discuss some functions. Those are the lambda function. Then we will try to discuss map. I think map we have discussed in list comprehension. So again, we will discuss it very quickly today. And we will try to discuss filter. Okay, and then we will start our discussion with the file handling. Okay, how to create file, how to read content from the file. Okay, so that we will discuss today. So mostly in file manipulation or in file handling, okay, we will not going to discuss this pointer using seek and tell, okay, because it is not used that much. But we will discuss that how to read files partially or line by line, or let's say if you want to read character by character or buffer by buffer. So that we will discuss. Okay, so we will start with the file handling, and then the main concept of all the basic Python will be discussed, and then we will start with the exception handling and then object-oriented programming. So let me start today's discussion. So let me actually share the screen. Okay, I hope it is visible to all of you. Now we will start our discussion with lambda function. Now, what is lambda function? So whenever you want to define any inline function, okay, what is inline function? Inline function means one line function, or you can say short function. Okay, at that time you can use the lambda function. Now, how to declare the lambda function? Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say if you want to define a function that will increment the value, or that will multiply the value by 2 or multiply the value by 5, okay, using one line, okay, then how we can define it? So for that we will use lambda function. We will use the keyword lambda. So let's say lambda, and then whatever argument we will pass, that is x. And let's say we want to find the square of this value. Let's say x is to 2. Okay, and here we will specify the value for which we want to find the, you can say, square. Okay, so here whenever we want to define an inline function, means we want to define a function, a simple function, okay, where we don't want to use multiple line, or we don't want to use def keyword, means we don't want to go with the formal definition. At that time, we can define the, you can say, lambda function. Okay, here, let me tell you the structure of lambda function. In after lambda keyword, we will specify the argument whatever we want to pass to the function, and then we will specify the statement whatever we want to execute. Okay, and this is how we will pass the value. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? This is a function, lambda function, and then this is the value on which we want to apply the lambda function. So this x will be replaced by 5. So 5 raised to 2, 25, and then 25 will be written. So this is how you can define a simple lambda function. Okay, the purpose of lambda function is, again I'm repeating, inline one line function. Now let's say if you want to assign lambda function to a particular variable or to a particular name. Okay, let's say function name 1. Okay, here we want to assign the lambda function. So in that case, you can write lambda, then x, what you will return, x raised to 2. Okay, not let's say this time we will increment it by 2. Okay, so this is how, well, here what we have done, here we have defined a one line function which will increment the value of a particular variable by 2. Okay, and we will assign this function to function name 1. Okay, now how to use this? Okay, so let me give you one example. For I in range, let's say 10. Okay, and we will call function underscore name 1, and in bracket we will pass 10. Okay, and let's put it inside the print function. So here you can see this will be the output. Okay, this is how you can apply any lambda function to variable. Okay, and then you can pass the value. Now it is not like that you can provide only, or you can pass only one argument. Okay, you can also pass multiple argument. Let me make it, let's say x, y, and z. Okay, x plus 2, then let's say uh, y plus 3, and z plus 4. Okay, now will it work or not? I, comma I, comma I. Will it work? No. Why? Because it can return, lambda function can return only one value. Okay, now if you want to use all these value for returning only one value, then you can use. Okay, but you cannot return multiple values from lambda function. Okay, so uh, let us try to create a tuple from this. Let's see whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working. Why it will work? Because here we are returning only one value, that is tuple. Okay, here we are returning only one value, that is tuple. And inside tuple, whatever operation we want to perform on individual element, that we will perform. Okay, here instead of tuple, you can create a list, then it will return list. So whatever individual operation you want to perform, okay, that you can perform over here. Okay, are you clear with the implementation of lambda function? We can also define lambda function for string. So what you want to do, Mohammed? Actually, what you want to ask? Let's say if you are passing two value, okay, then um, let's pass
Sir,
tuple. Yes.
like we are returning a list, we are also returning tuple. Can we return also dictionary? Is it possible?
So yes, let's return two things. Okay. Then let's create an empty dictionary D1. Okay. Then we have to take two variable x, comma y. Okay, comma y. We will pass only two value x y. Okay. Then D1 of x equals to y. And then let's print D1. Yes, you can do it. Got it? What we have done, Mohammed? Here we will create an empty dictionary. Here whatever value we will return. Okay, it will be in form of tuple. In tuple we are returning two value. So first value will be stored into x and next value will be stored into y. Okay, so we will use x as a key and y as a value. Okay, so d1 of key is equals to y. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's keep x as it is and y. Let's square it. Okay, then this will be more meaningful. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so 2 will be passed as a y, but what it will return? 2 raised to 2, 4. Okay, so d of 2, it will return 4. Next is 3, so 3 raised to 2, 9, 4 raised to 2, 16, 5 raised to 2, 25. Okay, so here what we have done? Here we have applied the lambda function over here. Now, in case of dictionary, what will happen that actually dictionary is collection of key value pair. Okay, actually dictionary is collection of key value pair. So for that, what will happen if you will try to return a dictionary, then you have to create a dictionary inside the dictionary. Okay, let's say if this function is returning dictionary. Okay, then you have to create the function. You have to create dictionary inside dictionary. Okay, so better you return individual value. Okay, and then you append those value into the dictionary. You can create the dictionary. Okay, you can return dictionary, but how you will create the dictionary? That's the concept. Okay, so if you want to see, let me give you one example. Let's say fun name 1, 1 comma 2. Okay, let's part 2 comma, let's pass only 2. Here it will be like this, x colon x raised to 2. Yes, you can return dictionary as well. Mohammed, are you clear? Mohammed? Okay. So this is how you can define the lambda function. Now you cannot define lambda function only for number. You can also provide the lambda function. You can also define the lambda function for let's say string. So let's try a lambda function with the string. Let's say full name. Full name equals to lambda, where you will pass first name. You can say middle name, and you can say last name. Yes. So what you will do? You will merge all this string, and then you will return a single string. Okay, so let's say first name equals to 0, then middle name equals to 1, and then last name equals to 2. Dot format method we will use, and we will provide three arguments: first name, middle name, and last name. Okay, now let's call this function. Let's say full name ABC XYZ DEF. Okay, so if we try to execute, then you can see we will get output like this. Okay, so it is not like that you can use only lambda function for let's say you can use lambda function for only integer. Okay, you can also use lambda function for string. You can also use lambda function for string. Everybody is clear with this? Anybody is having any doubt in whatever we have discussed? Anybody is having any doubt in whatever we have discussed? Yes, you are fine. Should we move forward? Okay. I hope all of you are clear with this, and nobody is having any doubt with this. Okay. Let me see if we can put condition. Uh, how we can put condition on inside the lambda function. So let me define one function. Let's say function 3 equals to lambda, then x, or let's keep it y. Then here we want to apply a function. Okay, so how we can apply that function? We have to use round bracket, and let's say we want to find a number is divisible by 3 or not. Okay, so let's say y modulo 3, y modulo 3. Okay, and we will write, and then we will specify, let's say it is divisible or not divisible. Let's take it. function 3. Y modulo 3 map divisible. Just wait for a second. Um, the condition is false. Okay, here it is not divisible. I have prepared one example. Okay, for 4, what we are getting not divisible. For 9, divisible. So here what will happen? Y modulo 3, y modulo 3. So if we are passing 9, okay, so 9 modulo 3 is 0, 0 and 0. So 0 and 0, 0. So this is 0. So in that case, it will not consider this one, but it will consider divisible. So this is, but very rarely you are going to use this. Most of time you will use lambda function for arithmetic type of calculation or something else. So this is how you can put the lambda function. Now let's move forward. Let's go with the map function. Okay, how to apply uh, a specific function on all the element of list using map. Okay, now let's consider one example. Let's say we are having list item, okay, and we want to apply particular function. Let's say we want to implement or we want to increment. We want to increment all the values. Okay, so for example, let's create a list. L1 is equals to, okay, how we will create list. So for that we have to map the function. We have to use a list. Okay, so let's create one list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the list. Now we want to calculate the square of all these elements. Okay, so let's do one thing. M12 is equals to list, and then we will use map function. What is meaning of map? What we will pass as an argument to map? We will pass two value. Okay, the function which we want to apply and the list on which we want to apply. Now let's use lambda function over here, lambda x. Okay, uh, and then we will do x raised to 2. So this is the first argument, and second argument is, let's say, L1. Okay, now let's try to print L2. So here what we have done, we have mapped this function on list 1. Okay, here you can take any function. It is not like that compulsory you have to use lambda function only. So let's take this list again, and I think while we have discussed list comprehension, at that time we have covered this. So let's say def function 2, and then we will pass one value x. Okay, and then we will return x raised to 2. Okay, and here we will provide the name of the function. Let's say function 2. Okay, and then also it will work fine. Okay, but here if we don't want to declare proper function, we are having only one statement inside the function, then what we will do, we will define that inline function, or we will define that function as a lambda function. Now clear? Anybody is having any doubt? Anybody is having any doubt whatever we have discussed till now? Yes. Mohammed, clear with the map function? How to use the map function? This was your doubt. So we have covered lambda and map. Now let me show you filter. Okay, how we can use the filter in Python. Okay, so let's create a list. Let's say L3 equals to uh, inch function to. So we are having a list which contain element 1 to 50. Now we want to separate. We want to filter all the elements from this list which are divisible by 5. Okay, we want to filter all the elements from this list. Mhm. We want to filter all the number from this list which are divisible by 5. So in that case, what we can do, we will define one function. Define, let's say, filter function 1. Okay, where we will pass one argument, that is x. Okay, now here we will do one thing. If x modulo 5 double is equals to 0, okay, then we will return true. Okay, else we will return false. Now we want to filter all the number from this list. Okay, and we want to print all the numbers which are divisible by 5. So how we can do it? Let's say uh, we are creating another list. L4 equals to filter. Okay, in filter we will specify two arguments. First will be the function, so that will be the filter function. Okay, and then it will be the argument or the list which we want to filter. Okay, and then we will try to print. Okay, again we have to convert this into the list. Pose is not defined. Mhm. And for A in L4. Okay. Oh, yes. There it is. Okay, so this is how filter will be used. So filter function will filter the value based on a particular value. For particular value, true or false is written or not. Okay, so now here how this will work. Uh, this function, this filter function will be applied on each of the value of L3 and each of the value of L3, and we will consider that value if and only if, okay, that for that particular value we are having true. Okay, so here what will happen, this function will be applied on each value. For each value it will try to check whether a particular value modulo 5 is returning 0 or not. Okay, if it is returning 0, then we will return true from here. Okay, so if particular value modulo 5 double equals to 0, then we will return true. And if that number is not divisible by 5, then we will return false. Okay, so we will consider the number for which we have received true as a return value. Okay, so we will filter the value from the list using this function. Okay, and uh, now let's do one thing. We want to find out all the numbers which are divisible by 3 and 5. Okay, so what we can do, x modulo 5 double equals to 0 and uh, x modulo 3 double is equals to 0. So in that case, we will get only 3 digits, 15, three values, 15, 30 and 45. So this is how we can apply the filter on particular number. Okay, similarly, let's say if we are having value in between 1 to 50 and we want to check whether we want to filter only prime number, okay, then you can apply the logic of prime number over here. Okay, that if for I in range, let's say 1 to x, if uh, x modulo I double is equals to 0, then break. Okay, now here we will put else condition. If loop is terminated normally because of this range, okay, then we will return true. Otherwise, we will return false. Okay, so let's try to see. Correct. Now here what is happening, L3, we will pass all the values one by one, 1 to 2, x modulo I, this is focus 0. We are getting only one value. So I think this should work. Anyway, give me some time. Let me correct it. Let me find out where is the mistake, and then I will come back to you. Yes, I have checked it and it was working, but let's move forward with the file handling. If anybody is having any idea, then you can give me input that, sir, mistake is here. So for I in range 1 to x. So file handling. Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of file handling? Anyway, I will correct it and then I will get back to you. Yes, can anyone tell me what is the purpose of file?
Sir, we
Yes.
can open or read any file in Python compiler.
Collection of data to store data permanently. We can read, process data. Okay, now what is the purpose of file? Let me tell you that if you are working on any system, okay, let's say if you want to provide any input to the, you can say, system, or if you want to store output, at that time we will use file. Now most of time what will happen, whenever you will execute any program, okay, that program will reside inside the memory, and whatever variable you will store, okay, that those variable of your program will be stored inside the RAM only, or you can say primary memory only. Now, if you will close the program or you will terminate the program, in that case, what will happen that file or that data will be removed, okay, or whatever calculation you have performed, it will be, you can say it will be vanished or it will be deleted from the RAM. Now, what is purpose of file? To store data, you can say permanently into the memory. So if you want to store data permanently into the memory, then you can use the file. Now, what kind of data can be? This can be the program, or it can be the file, or sorry, it can be the data. Okay, file doesn't mean that we will store only data. Here, whatever program you are writing, or you may be whatever program we are writing right now. Okay, it will be stored. It will be also stored in form of file. Okay, and whenever we want to execute that program, then what will happen that interpreter will read the code line by line from the file. Okay, and then it will forward that code, or that it will forward that compile code to CPU, and then CPU will execute it. So file will be helpful to you whenever you want to store the data, or whenever you want to store the information. So if you are having any processed information, and next time you don't want to process all those information again, data again, and generate the information again, in that case you can store the data into the file. Okay, let me give a very simple example. You are having a data set and uh, you want to process the data and you want to generate some useful information. Now, in that case, let's say you have written a code, but if you are not using file, then what will happen? Every time you have to start the process of that data processing from scratch, and every time you will generate a new file. Every time you will generate a data. But what will be the advantage of file? Let's say if you have processed it and if you are storing it in form of file, then next time if you require that value, then you can directly use that value. Okay, no need to process the data from scratch again. So actually file will help us to store data permanently. It can be code, or it can be information, or it can be some other kind of data. So file is an important thing whenever you are working with any of the let's say any of the concept of artificial intelligence. Why I have taken example of artificial intelligence? In AI you will be use you will use pre-trained model. Okay, pre-trained model. So what is pre-trained model? In pre-trained model, you will give lots of input or label input to the machine learning algorithm. Okay, it will the algorithm will train the network, or you can say particular values. Okay, and then whatever training is there, whatever outcome is there, it will be stored in form of file. Okay, and next time whenever you want to use that algorithm, what you will do, you will simply load the network, all the values from that file, and then you will give input, you will get output. So a file is a very key component in any of the programming language. It will help you to store the data permanently. Now, which are the various way to open the file? Okay, so most popular modes are read, write, and append. Okay, read, write, and append. Now, what is the difference between read, write, and append mode? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, in read mode, we can read the data.
Yes.
We cannot write or append.
Okay.
And in write mode, we can write but not read the data. And in append, uh, in write mode, the data won't be appended.
Okay.
In
Okay.
append mode, like in the previous data, we will add new one.
Now, what will happen in read mode? We will open file for read only mode. Okay, we cannot write the data. Now, what will happen in write mode? In write mode, we will open file for writing data. Okay, we cannot read data. And in append mode, we will append content at end of the file. Now, what is difference between write and append? Now, whenever you will open any file in write mode, okay, so whatever previously stored data will be erased. Okay, previously stored data will be erased. While what will happen in case of append mode? Previously stored data will be preserved. Okay, so it won't be deleted. It will be kept as it is, and whatever new content, whatever content we will add, okay, it will be added at the end of the current file or at the end of the current data. Okay, so this is the difference between write and append. Okay, so if you will open any file in write mode, okay, then it will erase the previously stored content. Okay, or it will delete the previously stored content. So if you want to append something into, let's say, existing system, okay, then if you don't want to lose the current values at that time, you should open it in uh, append mode. You should open file in append mode. Okay, there are some other mode also. I think in C++ you should have discussed. Okay, read plus, then write plus. Okay, and then uh, in read plus you can perform read and write operation both. In write plus you can perform write as well as append operation both. So how this operation will be performed? That is the important thing. So whenever we are dealing with any file, there are two pointers. Okay, first one is read pointer. Okay, and another is write pointer. Now, whenever you will open any file, okay, in read mode, okay, in read mode, then write pointer will be set to 0. 0 means this is something like you just imagine an array. You just imagine an array. So whenever you will open a file, okay, array of size of the file will be created inside the primary memory, and pointer will be pointed at the first position. And let's say file size or file contain 1000 characters. Okay, and if we are reading first 50 character into the buffer, so at that time the value of read pointer will be 5050. Okay, why? Because 0 to 49 first 50 characters are stored into the buffer. What will happen in write pointer? In case of, let's say, if you are opening any file in write mode, if you are opening any file in write mode, then write pointer will be initialized to 0. Okay, and if you are opening any file in append mode, then write pointer will point towards the EOF. EOF means end of file. Now, how computer will know that file is terminated or file is over, file is getting over at a specific position? So in that case, computer will specify a special character that is known as EOF, end of the file. So whenever computer will encounter end of the file, that means it will consider now file is over. Okay, now there is no more content in the file. Okay, and how computer will know that what is starting of the file? So in operating system, you will study one concept in upcoming semester, that is inode. Okay, so inode is basically a structure which you have studied in C language. So inode store the starting address of file. Okay, inode store actually lots of detail like what is the file number. Okay, then which are the permissions. then when file is created, when it is last modified, and some starting address of the file. Okay, so you will study very soon. You will start the data structure, and in data structure, you will learn that how inode means how we can create the file or how files are being created in computer. So starting of the file will be starting address of the file will be retrieved from the inode. Okay, and how end of the file will be detected? It will be detected using EOF, end of the file character. Okay, or in many cases, let's say file size will be added. File size will be added with the starting address, and then it will be considered as a boundary or end of the file. So these were some basic fundamentals of you can say file handling. Okay, and this is how data will be stored. Whenever we will store any data, ultimately it will be converted into the binary format. Okay, and inside RAM it is stored in binary format, but intermediate level it will be converted into ASCII value, and from ASCII value it will be represented to the user. Okay, so these are the some basic fundamentals of file. Okay, if anybody is having any doubt, then they can ask me. That's why we didn't get this or this. And for this, let's say for this, I will work out and then I will see that how we can use this. Okay, how we can apply a function for finding out all the prime numbers from the list. Why we are getting only one value. So I will work on it. Yes, anyone is having any doubt in whatever we have discussed till now?